This might look like a simple bus bench at first glance, but homeless advocates say there's something much more cynical hiding in plain sight. And it has been a year since Little Arabia has been officially recognized, but community members are still waiting on signs promised by the city. I'm Luis Avila in Santa Ana, where voters next month will decide whether one council member keeps her job. Now there are questions about the police union's involvement in the recall election. I'll have that story coming up. Remember those vaccine cards we had to carry around during the pandemic? Well, those once essential cards are now officially history. Now from video game drops to beat drops, EDM concerts have become quite the phenomenon. Let's take a look at weather headlines for today. Get those umbrellas ready because rain is expected tomorrow, lasting the rest of the week. Also, I have your local weather forecast, and hard to believe, but Thanksgiving is right around the corner. I'll have that forecast coming up after the break. Thank you, Kate and Emily. Yes, we've been feeling unseasonably warm temperatures here in SoCal, but I'm ready for the cool weather. And we'll be getting just that with rain headed our way. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at current weather conditions outside, bringing all that moisture via the atmospheric river. Now, what is that? As the name suggests, it's a jet stream that brings moisture from the tropics, and we can expect the first round tomorrow and the second round over the weekend. By the end of the week, we should be expecting 1 to 3 inches of rain, so please prepare for that. On Friday, we'll see a little bit of a break of the heat at 76 degrees. But again, there we go, the weekend, cranking up those temperatures once again, hitting 82 degrees. Bus benches, convenient and helpful for some public transportation users, but for others, a warning to stay away.
When people in power, the decision makers, actually plan and choose to create structure or systems that are targeted towards people that they don't want to act out in a certain place or they don't want around a certain place.
This design strategy is known as hostile architecture, and it targets those who use or depend on public spaces more than others, such as the unhoused. Hostile architecture can be found throughout Orange County.
Just behind me to my left, there's a bus bench with, I'll call them dividers on the bus bench that were put there on purpose so that people can't lay down on the bench.
Homeless advocates, like co-founder of Housing is a Human Right OC, David Duran, say hostile architecture is unethical, creating barriers to make the lives of those unhoused much more difficult. Hostile architecture goes far beyond bus benches, but is most apparent there, such as right here outside Disneyland, where bus benches have been replaced by individual seating and what's known as slanted benches. In 2017, the city had removed the bus benches entirely. In an OC Register article, former Anaheim City spokesperson Mike Lister said the benches had, quote, outlived their purpose, and added the city was doing its best to provide assistance to those living on the street. In an email to Chapman News, Santa Ana City Manager Paul Eakin says, quote, providing safe, clean, and user-friendly infrastructure for public transportation users is extremely important to us. The 2 middle armrests on new benches create separate seating areas where members of the public can comfortably wait for a bus in their own space. Armrests also provide a physical support to anyone who may have problems standing up or sitting down on their own. Eakins also says that Santa Ana leads OC in providing shelter and services to the unhoused. But a Register article last October included a survey of more than 600 unhoused people throughout OC, and a majority said they have not been able to get help from city outreach officials or caseworkers. Duran says that regardless of the reasons, the problem with hostile architecture comes down to human decency.
That's just not how we treat human beings.
Luis Avila reporting for Chapman News.
Luis, how are the community members feeling about the lack of signage?
Community members are not happy about this delay. Good afternoon, Avery and Kevin. I am here at the stretch of Brooker Street that has been officially designated as Little Arabia in the city of Anaheim. It's the cultural center for Orange County's Arab American population. Now, as you mentioned, the city has yet to deliver signage that will publicly recognize this area. I spoke with local leaders about the importance of these signs for the community. Nestled in the city of Anaheim, along Brooker Street, lies Little Arabia, a cultural destination made up of Arab restaurants, hookah cafes, and Islamic clothing and jewelry stores. However, those unfamiliar with the area can easily drive by without realizing it, because there is nothing that indicates where Little Arabia is.
But we don't see that on the map. We don't see that on the street. We don't see a sign.
Rashad Al-Dabag is the founder and executive director of the Arab American Civic Council, a grassroots organization based in Anaheim. The group wants to raise awareness of the Little Arabia district.
So if we have a sign, then that will give more exposure to the small businesses, to this community.
Rashad describes the OC Arab American community as one of resilience. In another example of unity, when Anaheim High School teacher Lena Mouse's Arabic language course was set to end this year due to a lack of funding and low enrollment, the community came together and saved the program.
With help and support with my community here, they helped me a lot just to send the messages and emails to the district. And now the district are aware that it's very important, it's very essential.
Lena says she wants to help educate people about her culture and says signs recognizing Little Arabia are important for community members.
To have signs around in the Little Arabia makes me, as an Arab American citizen, feel more connected to my culture and my identity and feel proud of my culture.
City Council member Carlos Leon told the Voice of OC that the city is still working on determining the cost and placement of the signs, but in the meantime, he says the city is also conducting a study to determine how to best help businesses in Little Arabia. But Rashad and Lena say they should have the signs sooner. They say they will not stop pushing because Little Arabia is so important to their community.
It's a place that brings people together. It's a place that unifies people. That's why we love this place.
Now, according to the Voice of OC, the city is expected to conduct that survey in December. I contacted the city, but did not receive a response back. Reporting live from Little Arabia in the city of Anaheim, I'm Luis Avila for Chapman News. Back to you in the studio. Thank you, Avery and Kevin. I am here standing outside City Hall in Santa Ana, where Councilmember Jesse Lopez is facing recall next month. Now, the recall is backed by the Santa Ana Police Officers Association. I spoke with the councilmember to get her thoughts on the recall. Take a look.
Councilmember Jesse Lopez represents Santa Ana residents living in Ward 3, the northernmost part of the city. She was elected in 2020 and won more than one-third of the vote. Yet a recall effort gathered enough signatures to qualify and proceed with the recall election. Lopez says residents were misled, even lied to by those who went door to door to get signatures.
Many people have reached out to us, have shared their audio, their recording audios, their ring videos, and of the conversations that they were having. And that's how we learned about some of the things that they were telling our residents.
Residents who did not want to go on camera tell Chapman News that some canvassers told them the petition was in support of public education. Others were told it was a petition about whether Lopez should run for a second term. The Santa Ana Police Union says it backs the recall because Lopez supports defunding the police and also supports policies that encourage landlords to raise rent. But Lopez denies both of these claims. She says the recall is about the police union wanting to consolidate its power in City Hall and financial greed. Lopez says that union leadership is angry because she did not support a police pay raise, which she says the city could not afford.
And so here you have a police union-driven recall, simply because I did not want to support a $24 million contract, and I've stood up for working-class people in the city of Santa Ana. It is unfair to continue to burden taxpayers of the city with the heavy cost, just because one person there wanted to boost their own pension.
That one person, former police union leader Jerry Serrano, who was recently, as a city spokesperson put it, separated from city service. Chapman News attempted to reach Serrano and the police union for comment. None of our emails or phone calls were returned. This isn't the first time the police union has backed the recall of a city council member. In 2020, Cecilia Iglesias was voted off the council. Iglesias said the recall was due to her opposition to a police pay raise. With her re-election coming up next year, City Council member Lopez questions the timing of the recall.
So what is the plan in place to try and oust me out a year earlier? What is it that they really want to get out of the city council that they cannot have me on there?
Lopez says bearing the cost of this election will impact taxpayers in Santa Ana.
This is definitely going to have a financial impact on people, whether people decide to participate or not. To be forced to spend over $500,000 and potentially over $1.2 million is completely unnecessary and unfair.
The police union. and phone, but was denied comment. Now, mail-in ballots will be sent out in the next few weeks and due November 14th. Live from Santa Ana, I'm Luis Avila for Chapman News.